Welcome back to Just the Facts, y'all. My name is Jimmy, and today I have a special guest, my man Tylan Wallace here, receiver for the Baltimore Ravens. Tylan, I first want to just say thank you for hopping on this interview with me, talking a little ball, talking a little football. So, I really appreciate it, man.
No, definitely appreciate you having me.
Oh yeah, man. How you feeling, man?
I'm good. Right now, kind of enjoying the off season, staying in shape, just getting ready for next season. So I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, and how was that season for you in terms of growth, in terms of just knowing a lot more things than you probably did in your rookie season?
Yeah, I mean, going in that year too, it helps a lot. It's better now that you have that 1 year rookie year under your belt. You can go into year two, you kind of know what to expect. Kind of know how the game is played. So I think it was definitely a big, kind of year for me to kind of realize like what I'm getting myself into, how things are done around, just the organization and everything. But I would say it was pretty good, not a bad year at all.
Yeah, and I'm I'd be remiss if I didn't mention this. The hometown hero, the Fort Worth guy. I've been living in Fort Worth for about 15 years now. Talon's one of the big man here in Fort Worth. So do you get a lot of love around town, or like are you noticed a lot in public, stuff like that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like you said, I mean, I grew up, born and raised in Fort Worth. So, I mean, I see everybody that, I either went to school with, either played against them in high school, whatever it is. But for the most part, yeah, most people will say what's up. I'll take pictures with guys and everything like that. So I get a lot of love around the city for sure.
That's dope, man. And going on to a little bit of football talk, the combine and pro day and all those type of things, we're in the thick of it now for a lot of these younger players that are just now coming out of college. Take me back to your experience and your time with pro day and the combine and things like that. How was that experience for you? How was that process like?
Right. So, obviously around the combine and pro day time, it's pretty stressful time for the players. But, my year was actually the COVID year. So we didn't have they canceled the combine. So all we had was our pro days. So most of our guys, we just they had their pro days at their schools, and that was it. There was no combine, and which I've heard other people say, it's kind of a good thing because, they say that the combine is like just super stressful. You're doing stuff like the whole time you're there. And then you got to perform in front of everybody, all the scouts, all the GMs, everybody that's there. So maybe it could have been a good thing, that we didn't have to go to the combine. But it was definitely a different year, especially with COVID and all that stuff going on. So it was different. But I definitely it's a I guess an opportunity that a lot of people would kill to have. So it was definitely a great opportunity to be a part of.
Piggybacking off of that, with the combine, a lot of players kind of come out and say, "Oh, the combine doesn't really show what a guy is capable of playing, so they should probably incorporate a lot more skill work and things like that." But they just test like athleticism and explosiveness, things like that. So, what are your thoughts on that whole deal?
Yeah, I mean, I can kind of agree with that. I mean, obviously the combine it tests certain things. Obviously, I think the 40 for speed. I mean, I think that's a pretty good test for it. But I think what people are trying to say with that is like you can have great numbers at the combine, but that doesn't mean that translate also into the football field. So, I mean, I like what they do with the combine and things like that, but I think there are better ways. I mean, obviously the best way is watching the guy's film, knowing if he can play ball or not. I think that's the biggest thing that you should, take notes on, if anything. But the combine is just a few extra things to see, like, how athletic a guy might be or things like that. But I think the true tell is the tape. The tape doesn't lie.
And moving on to your draft day, obviously that was the COVID one, right? So it was all remote, all through like Zoom or whatever.
Right. Right.
um, I know it kind of took away at least a little bit from the experience, but how was that moment? Just getting drafted, being with your family, and just celebrating that moment, man.
Oh man, it was awesome. Like I said, that's a moment that I've dreamed of since I was a kid. So I mean, just like a bunch of other guys. I mean, the moment just sitting there waiting for your name to be called on the TV to figure out like who you're going to be playing for. I mean, it's a moment that was like, obviously I'll remember forever for the rest of my life, and I will always appreciate and never take granted of.
Um, was football always like your number one? Was that I know you kind of played a couple other sports here and there, but was football
Right.
always the main thing, or was that a transition, or how did that go along with you and your twin?
Right. So football was always the main sport. Growing up played football and we played baseball, and then once we got to high school, middle school, we started involving track in that also. But I think we always knew football was going to be the main thing. Obviously, we enjoyed playing football and running track and things like that. I think I'd like to say we're pretty successful in both of those, but I think football was like the one that we knew like this is going to be it. This is what we want to do.
Most definitely. What was the biggest adjustment from you going from college to the NFL? And in your case, it's really interesting because you went from a high profile offense, high tempo offense, spread it out to offense in Baltimore to where it's more run heavy. You're going to see 2-3 tight ends, 2-3 running backs, fullbacks, all those things. So for you, how was that kind of transition going from one playbook to another?
For sure. I think the big thing, especially from college, at least for us, from college going to the NFL, the playbook is like just the terminology in itself is just a whole nother language. Like you got to start over and learn the language, learn the whole playbook all over again. And the NFL playbook is serious. Like it ain't nothing light. So. But I think that was the biggest transition was getting used to the terminology, getting used to how things are run in the NFL and not, how they're probably in college a little bit more simplified. So I think that was the biggest adjustment.
I was going back to one of your older interviews when you first got in the league, and you mentioned how you try to put the book down sometimes because you're always studying it, always looking at it, and stuff like that.
Right.
How did you find a balance between learning and trying to get better and kind of just chilling out and let everything take care of itself?
Right. So especially the hard part, especially your rookie year, because I mean you're trying to prove everybody what you can do. You know what I mean? So you catch yourself like, oh, you're studying like 24/7. Like I gotta get this playbook down. Like you don't want to go out there messing up plays in front of everybody. So and I feel like got so into myself where I was studying so much, I'm not even retaining information. You know what I mean? Like I'm just over here looking at plays and I don't even know what I'm looking at because I've been looking at it for so long. So I think it's important to take, basically get in there, study, know what you're doing, but also, don't overdo it to where, you're kind of just looking at it and you don't even know what you're looking at.
For you specifically, like as a receiver, what was the biggest adjustment from college to the pros?
So, yeah, I mean, the biggest difference, is I think the speed of the game. I feel like everybody says that, but until you actually go out there and experience it, it's like it's on a whole different level. Like everybody says, yeah, everybody's fast, but it's like it's different when you're out there. You hear like obviously everybody's fast, but when you're out there and you got like linebackers running 4.4s and 4.3s, and it's like insane. It's crazy. So I really think like that's the true big adjustment is how fast everybody is on the field. Like everybody's fast.
Did that take a while for you to adjust, or did you kind of like anticipate that as you're coming in?
Like that's so I think you anticipate it a little bit, but until you actually get out there and are doing it is when you're like, oh, okay, like this is what they're talking about. This is what they're saying. So I think it probably took just a little bit to get used to that. You know what I mean? Like everything is quick, super fast, and just because everybody else is fast on the field. So I think it took a little time to adjust to it. But obviously that going into it.
Now going back to your time at Oklahoma State for a little bit, played under Coach Gundy, great offensive mind. How was the recruiting process like with him, with you and your brothers? Was that like a package deal? Because I know y'all played same high school and everything. He got injured, of course, but was that a package deal for y'all to go to Oklahoma State, or like how did that work out?
Yeah, so it basically kind of was in a way. So coming out, I think by the time we committed to Oklahoma State when we were sophomores. So we kind of knew, like, after taking a visit out there and talking to the coaches and everybody, we knew that's where we wanted to be. So we committed when we were sophomores, and even through all the things after that year, my brother tore his ACL his junior and senior year, and they still respected the scholarship. So that was a huge deal for us, for them to be like, no, we still believe in you. We still believe, like, in the player you are. So that meant everything to us. So we both knew that's where we wanted to be. So we committed and never looked back.
Do you I'm pretty sure you do, but do you sometimes think of like what could have been with your brother playing quarterback and you playing receiver at Oklahoma State, big time
Oh
college
yeah,
football?
all the time, all the time. You know what I mean? Watching what we did in high school, and just knowing, like, if he would have been able to stay healthy and not go through those injuries, I really feel like he would probably be right here with me in the league, honestly. So I think about that all the time, for sure, though.
Yeah. If you can remember, what was your what do you think was your best game in college? Because in my opinion, I think your best game in college was the one I watched with my Texas Longhorns. I'm from Austin, so
I got you. Yeah,
you know, uh,
yeah,
2018, we were we're number 6 in the country, and I'm like, okay, we have a chance to win the conference, maybe go to the playoffs. Who knows? And you had like the game of your life, couple touchdowns, 222 yards or something like that.
yeah,
Mossing dudes left and right. It was bad, man. Like, talk to
definitely.
me, man. Talk to me.
Yeah, I mean, that was going into that game. Obviously, we knew. I mean, yeah, like you said, Texas was number 6 ranked in the nation. We were unranked, and it was homecoming for us. And I feel like it in Stillwater, homecomings is like a really big deal for everybody to come back and watch us. And I'm like, as a team, I mean, we were like, we have nothing to lose. You know what I mean? Why not go out here, play our best ball? And I really felt like that was the time for me to just show everybody what I can do. I mean, why when other time to do it against, like, homecoming, number 6 team in the nation? I mean, there's no better time to do it. So I figured, I went out there, I just did what I could, and we came out on top for that game. So that was definitely one of my favorite memories, being at Oklahoma State, for sure.
Now, after that game, like, honestly, I can put all my Texas fandom to the side. You became like one of my favorite players in college that year, and from there on out, I was like, yeah, that dude is him, like, for real.
Yeah, yeah, appreciate it.
No, I
Appreciate it.
had to, because that was crazy stuff. But do you think there's an extra? Obviously, there's a level of hatred for every other team, like in the Big 12 and just in college in general. The rivalries are crazy. But do you think there's an extra amount of, I guess you could use the word hate, quote unquote, for a team like the University of Texas? I know OU's also a rival, but
Right, right. I think it's always those. I feel like, yeah, there's always that. What do you call it? I mean, that we can't. Those games we really can't wait for. Games like Texas, like OU. The big schools that just feel like every year they're just like, think they can just roll through us. So it's always a very highly anticipated game, especially in Stillwater, to play those guys like that. So I mean, almost every year, yeah, I think we would for sure say those are big games that we look forward to.
yeah. All right, so coming into the NFL, get drafted by the Ravens. You're playing alongside Lamar Jackson. How is that, man?
Man, it's really insane. Just to be, where I was just as a kid watching people play on TV in the NFL, and then obviously, me in college and high school or college, watching Lamar like play and everything. It's just crazy. And then to get drafted, be on the same team, be in the same locker room, play on the same field as somebody special, especially as special as Lamar. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's insane. But I love Lamar, man. He's a great dude. I mean, really great guy. But man, just a insane player, and couldn't say enough about him. But no, it's really a blessing just to be able to be on the same field as all those guys.
What makes him such a special player? Obviously, we know about the speed, the agility, the quickness, the flick of the wrist throws. What makes
Mm,
him a special player? Like besides that, so like as a leader and just a guy with high charisma.
right. I mean, just the guy he is outside of the field, like off the field. I mean, he's a great guy. I mean, he does everything he can. Like even after games, even during practice, like during training camp, he'll go take pictures with all the fans, take pictures with the kids. Just he does his part off the field as well as on the field. So I mean, just not also being a great player on the field, but also a great person off the field.
Yeah, and what do you see behind the scenes that like most people don't about him that we would probably be surprised about or probably be like oh I didn't know that.
Right, right. I mean, I don't know if I would say if it's something that I mean. I guess if you really got to know him, that dude, man, Lamar is a funny dude. Like he's super funny. Yeah, if you just get to sit down and just have a conversation with Lamar, man, he's a super funny guy. But yeah, I have a lot of love for him, man, and it's just the person he is and the player that he is.
Ravens pay him his money. um, Next question. Speaking of the Ravens, how is it like playing for the organization as a whole? I think they're one of the best organizations in football right now. Um, Very high professionalism. John Harbaugh been running the show for 15 plus years. Only's had like 2 losing seasons since. So the things that they're doing over there works. So what is it like just being in an organization, being around the franchise? Like what, just tell me about that a little bit.
I mean, it's awesome, really. Like just everything, all the people inside the building. I mean, they're great people. They want what's best for you. They always try to help you. You can reach out to anybody in that building, and if you need something, and they'll do whatever they can or give their best efforts to help you or do whatever they can. It is, but everybody in the building is just awesome, and I think that's what Harbaugh has done a great job of is spreading like that culture throughout, making sure that he only brings in people that are just like that are it's really tight knitted family type bond that and it just feels right to be in the building and knowing that you can go to anybody and have a conversation with them or ask them for anything and they'll do the best they can to help you.
Is he more of is he more of a get in your face yell type of guy, or he's more chill?
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends. It depends on what happens. Like, if you get you probably get a dumb penalty or something like that during the game. He might have a few words for you, but besides that, no, he's a great guy. He's a really good coach, and appreciate and obviously with all the things that he's done in the past for Baltimore. I mean, obviously a great coach and a great guy.
Yeah, for sure. Um, is the Steelers Ravens still a rivalry?
For sure, for sure.
Okay.
That's definitely a thing.
Okay.
That's definitely a thing still.
Okay, because I don't know. I feel like it's lost some of its luster over the past couple of years. I'm just from the outside looking in, but
Right. No, yeah, it's definitely still a thing for sure.
okay, okay, just making
Yeah.
sure. Who are some of the? You can kind of name a couple guys or whatever, but who are some of the toughest DBs and just defensive players you've went up against personally?
Right.
College, NFL?
For sure. I think, as well, I'm gonna go probably in the league, I'd say. I mean starting out in college, one of the toughest guys I actually went against was rest in peace, Jeff Gladney, man. He was
Mm,
that was that year where I was up for the Blitnikoff, and that was like one of the games where I didn't really do much that game, and going back to it and just watching and paying attention, man, he was a great DB, man. He held his own out there, so I have a lot of respect for him. So as far as in the league goes, I probably got to say for sure Jalen Ramsey. I mean, obviously being him one of the best in the game for sure. Going against him, he's just smart. You know what I mean? He knows what he's doing out there. He's been playing for a while, so he reads everything. He sees everything on the field. So I'd probably say those two guys for sure.
he talks a lot, huh?
He does for sure, for sure. But what DBs don't? You know what I mean? So that's
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Hey, if you're not talking, you're probably not
Good.
great,
You
right?
already know.
So, um, who were your receivers that you were looking up to when you're on your way up to the league, and even maybe still in the league?
Hmm.
Some guys that you were kind of maybe modeled your game after, maybe just look up to,
Hmm.
things of that nature.
I mean, me growing up, being from Texas, my family always watched the Cowboys, obviously a lot, and I think one guy that I always looked up to and somewhat tried to model my game after was Des Bryant. I mean, being the guy and how much impact he had for at Oklahoma State and also on the Cowboys, man, I just remember sitting there watching him and make just ridiculous plays on TV. So, growing up, I tried to model as much as I could my game after him.
It was a catch, by the way, right?
The what for everybody? It's a catch for sure. I don't know. I
Thank
don't
you.
know how you can't say it isn't, but you know how that goes. You know how that goes.
Nah. Hey, I'm from the area, and I'm not even a fan of the Cowboys, but that, come on
That
now,
was crazy,
right?
crazy.
But kind of wrapping this thing up. What's kind of like the next step in your development as a player? What are some things you kind of want to improve on as you're moving on in your career, man?
Definitely. I mean, obviously, just whenever I can, always just trying to get better. Trying to, you can never be, you can never be not good enough, or you can always work on something. There's always something you can work on. You know what I mean? So, just whatever I can, whatever I can do, I'm just trying to make sure overall I become a better receiver, and just going out there and always giving my all on every play. I mean, if you do those things right there, you can be as great as you want to be. So I think those are the key things for me.
Yes, sir. And to wrap this thing up, leave a quick message for future NFL draftees for this upcoming draft.
Definitely. Man, I would just say, just, you know, be ready to, if you really want to be great, man, just all you gotta do is put in the work. I mean, obviously you made it this far. I mean, you obviously know what it's like for hard work and dedication. But just when you get to the league, just keep going. Don't stop there. You can always keep getting better. Keep being the great. Whatever position you want to play, great receiver, running back, whatever it is. You know what I mean. You can always be better, and just keep going, keep working, and you can be as great as you want to be if you put the work in.
And stay focused,
Yes,
guys.
gotta
Stay
stay focused for a fact.
please, because there are a lot of distractions that can come with the limelight, the fame, and all these people knowing you and things like that,
So
right?
many, man. There's always gonna be distractions. Like even now with obviously guys getting paid in college now, they probably got more than there ever has been now. But yes, all that stuff, man. You definitely gotta stay focused. Because with all that, being on TV, everybody seeing you and making all the money, there's gonna be a bunch of people trying to reach out to you and asking for who knows what. So you gotta make sure to stay locked in and remember you're here for a reason, and keep showing everybody why you're here.
Yes, sir. And I'm glad you kind of brought up NIL. Before we go, I want to ask you about that. What are your thoughts on the NIL as a whole
Right.
right now?
I mean, it's kind of tough. I like that they did it. I like NIL, but I know that's just it's hard, especially already being in college. There's already so many distractions being in college as it is, and then just now to pay guys, that makes it probably even more distractions. But I think the right guys, if you can just stay like we were just talking about, staying locked in and stay focused. I think it's awesome, man, for college guys to go out there and make money for what they're doing on the field. So as long as you can stay locked in and stay focused and know where you want to go and what you want to do, I think it's awesome.
There we go. You hear it from the man himself, Tylan Wallace. Appreciate you, my man, for doing this interview with me, man. It means a lot to me. Trying to grow and get myself out there in the broadcasting scene and sports. So I really appreciate you, man. You don't understand it, man, for
No,
real.
definitely. I appreciate you having me.
Yes, sir, man. That's gonna wrap it up. This is Jimmy from Just the Facts. Make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and we are signing out.
See you.
Peace.